Hey guys, time for that weekly market update. Didn't get a chance to post yesterday, so let's just jump right into it and we'll cover Bitcoin and the big three, Bitcoin, ETH, and Sol. We'll talk a little bit about USDT dominance and Bitcoin dominance, and then the strong charts that I have um, my eyes on for the week. Again, as always, if I am to give a play, it'll be only in the Discord channels. If you are taking this based on these videos, the risk and liabilities are up to you. I won't be updating anything on YouTube like always. So let's look at Bitcoin and we'll do the trickle down method. If you guys watched my video that I posted earlier last week regarding, if we are in a bull or bear cycle, it'll discuss. But if we take a look, one sec. So on a higher time frame, and we can take a look at this on the weekly. Again, I am not going to be bullish until we flip this level back into support on a higher time frame. All right, so from 92 to 90, basically from 92 to 95k, not really looking to be bullish because we can easily go and like we had this weekly breakdown, right? This weekly chart, although we are putting in another higher low here, if we go back up to here and reject, then we have, a lower high placed, and we can honestly go back to everyone's level that they're looking at from, 73k down to 69k. So this is still a very viable trade and a possibility, but as long as we are below here, I'm not high time frame bullish at all. Like I said, in bull runs, you can have, right, these rallies where you come down and then you have a what is this, 15% move, come back down again here, have a 40% move before a further decline. And historically, every a dip that we've had in the previous cycles, even like from here down to the lowest point, it's been around 33 to 34%, right? Like, so if I were to take there to there, or from here down to here, from here down to, one sec, we actually went much lower than that one, but here's another example. Okay, so roughly it's around 30% or so, right? And the most recent dip that we had in terms of, from the highs to the current lows, okay, was around 30%. So it's around our average. We can go to 34, 35%. But what we have to take a look at is a reclaim of this yellow zone here to be bullish. All right. Now, low time frame. Okay, we are very much bullish. We are putting in higher highs and higher lows, at least on the 4 hour. This can also be another lower high technically if we have this with this. This, can come here again and reject. So, and we can draw this trend line. Okay, we possibly have a breakout coming here. We have compression here. So, shorting here is a little bit risky, and on a lower time frame such as the 4 hour, we are bullish. Okay, like we just had a rejection from this trend line, but we are putting in higher lows. Okay, and shorting here is a little bit risky because we don't really have confluence up until this 90k region. So if you're looking to short, this is where I'd be looking to short. Now, if this is actually a true move, and from what I've seen in charts, I've been gone this whole entire week, but taking a look at premiums. Okay, so here's Coinbase price, and here are the perp prices. We have a $60 to $70 premium. It just means that this move up is organic, and people are actually buying Bitcoin versus leverage trading it. So this is an organic move. Although this is a bullish indicator, it as long as we are having a premium on spot price, there's no reason to short. I'd be looking to long pullbacks if that's the case. And this was a premium up until from yesterday afternoon, when we were at like 83 to 84k. It was leading the whole entire way. So again, there's no reason to really short unless you're scalping, because you're trading against the trend, right? So if you're looking for shorts, right, you have to wait until a higher time frame level of confluence, which in my opinion is around this 90k region. Now, I'd be looking to long pullbacks until structure is lost. So until that happens, you're going to play the trend until broken, okay? And that would be, it's hard to say because we have this huge move on these 4 hours, but if we get somehow a move back into this order block, that is where I'd be looking to long. Now, we can also come back, like this was a previous supply zone. Okay, we broke out. I mean, we rejected from it perfectly, came back down, and then we broke out. So we can actually go and retest this area. And by the way, we had the clear resistance. Okay, this was a little wedge. So we can easily go back and retest that area. And if that 86.8k holds, then we should gun a little bit higher. But in the event that we get another wick down, a place to play would be the trendline confluence. We can draw some fibs and let's see if it. Okay, the golden pocket lies within that and stops below, and target higher. Okay, so two areas where we could be looking to hold would be this 86.8k level or this golden pocket. But if this golden pocket holds, it'll be a quick wick, just like these here. I think we come back down and quick wick. Now, we had bullish news last night where the White House came and said that the tariffs on cars and microchips are most likely not going to happen, which was one of the reasons why we pumped. Okay, this happened around here. So we pumped literally from 85 and just never stopped. Okay, that was a bullish indicator. The stock futures loved it. We woke up and stocks are up. Okay, so if we get a pullback, look for these two levels around 86.8k to hold. If that holds, then that is a possible long trigger. Or if we get, this would be a limit order around this order block. You have confluence, the trend line, golden pocket, and the OB. All right, so that would be an area where I'd be looking to long. Now the short that I gave is in my channel. It's around this 90k region. Okay, 90.5k, 90.6k. We have the golden pocket short. We have major resistance here. This would be a breakout. Now, again, I'm trading this on the spot chart. Okay, but perp charts are a little bit different, so it should still be relatively the same. But if we have a breakout here, which we almost do, okay, like I said, okay, here's the breakout attempt. Expect this to be pretty violent. Now, the reason for that is because if we take a look at Bitcoin, let's take a look at Bitcoin volatility, the BVOL chart. Now, this chart tells you Bitcoin's volatility. We got to our lowest point on Sunday since basically October of 24. Okay. So, what happened in October? Okay. Well, here's October. October 20th. Here is October 20th. And then we continue to rip. So, We had the lowest volatility since October. That was our 67K area, and we continued to rip here. Now, this isn't all of it. If we take a look at Bitcoin as well, um, let's go to the back to the weekly chart here. Okay. And let's turn on RSI. Oops. Okay. So from September, right? So from September here, you had price going up, right? While RSI, okay, RSI was making not like a major move up, like you had RSI going up as well, but it came back down here and relatively bottomed out here around the 50. Now, when you have a 50 RSI reset, it usually is an indicator for us to go higher. So like if you take a look here, right, RSI was around 87. We came back down, okay? We came back to that around 50 RSI reset. Look what happened here. Price went up, okay? And then we came back down, right? Around 50 here. Price went up. Now, and you're probably saying like this is nothing, but look, it's like a 23% move. Okay, and again, we came close to around 50ish, and then price went up. Right, so we are getting that 50 RSI reset, and this looks good for higher. Right, at least that's what I think. I think that we are going to get a nice relief here. But also, you had back here, right? Price making higher highs, RSI pretty stable. Okay, this is a hidden bullish divergence, and you have the same thing forming here. Okay, price making higher highs, and RSI staying stable with another hidden bullish divergence. Now, like I said, in October, we had the lowest point in Bitcoin volatility, and we got a huge move up, and we got volatility again, and I expect this volatility to keep happening throughout the from now up until maybe April 2nd. Now, April 2nd, the tariffs go into effect, so we could continue pumping until then, or maybe Trump again takes back his word and cancels the tariffs. But for now, I expect volatility to keep inching higher and higher. And back from here, we had nice volatility and an uptrend ever since. And this chart just calculates Bitcoin's volatility and movement. Nothing else. Nothing related to price. But for now, I expect price to continue grinding, either ranging here or going a little bit higher and then coming back down. Now, if we get above that 92.5 to 95K level, then I'm high time frame bullish again, and we've established a deviation, and that's where I'll be looking to get back into it. All right. Now, let's take a look at ETH. Well, before I do that, let's take a look at dominance. Okay. So Bitcoin USDT dominance is back to possibly looking bearish. Now this would correlate with Bitcoin prices and the crypto prices going up. Yes, I did say crypto prices. That means your shitty alt bags that you're holding because you refuse to sell. You might get another pump, or it's pumping now. A lot of coins are up 100% over the last couple of weeks. Fartcoin being one of them, and if your coins are still stuck at the same price they were a week ago, then you're holding absolute garbage. But looking at USDT dominance, we possibly might have our close below this trend line, and this is a major demand zone here. So either we hold and go higher, which if you took lots of longs yesterday or during the past few days, this is an area where you might want to book some profit because we are at demand here and trendline support. So, this is an area where you want to book some profits if you haven't already. But if this holds, then I'm looking for another now lower time frame. Okay, lower time frame. We either go back up to here. This is, let me see, do we have a divergence here? We do not. So if we can get above this trend line again, maybe a move back into 5.28. Hopefully we reject there, put in another lower high, and then that would correlate with Bitcoin being around that 85 to 86 point level, and then reject here, put in a lower high, inversely correlated to crypto prices, and then we continue to pump to the upside. But again, higher time frame, this is looking bearish. Not really looking bearish, but it's starting to look bearish. If we can close below here, turn this into resistance and continue to the downside, then it'll be good for altcoins and everything else. Now, again, like I said, this is a good area to take some profits if you longed earlier in the week, last week, or during the weekend, because you got a nice move up. Bitcoin dominance here is still ranging. Okay. You have, we can go to the 12-hour. You have a clear range here. Okay. This doesn't look bearish or bullish yet. Yes, we've broken down below this trend line. Possible bearish retest we can get. But to be honest, it's just a range. So, alts won't really have that major move to the upside yet until this breaks down from this range. And by this range, I'm talking about a loss of 60.5% for now. And then we take it level by level. But until this ranges, don't expect anything major on alts. Like I said, a few alts have already done 100%. Fartcoin being one of them, and we'll take a look at that in just a moment. But the main focus should be on majors. In my opinion, this is still a Bitcoin market, and you want Bitcoin to lead the rally. That is exactly what it's currently doing. So focus on Bitcoin, focus on the big volatile major coins like ETH and Sol, and play that. Okay. Speaking of ETH, let's take a look at this. Okay. So ETH is here in a supply zone OB. Okay. We actually did put in currently a higher high. So this is a good area to take shorts, to be honest. But with the strength that Bitcoin has, I personally would want to long pullbacks instead of trying to long an uptrend or a low time frame uptrend. But this is an area where I gave a short last stream that I had, and until this level is flipped, this could easily be a deviation back into this OB and further back down. So I don't really trust ETH pumps. Maybe this time it's different, but let's take a look at this from a clean perspective. Okay. So if ETH was to get a low time frame pullback, this is the order block that you want it to hold. Okay. So something along the lines of this. Right? This is low time frame support that we need to hold as well. So something like that, and you're targeting these highs here. Okay. Now, ETH is on a very, very important level here. Okay. We had major resistance here on this 2K level, 2.8K level. We flipped it to support, right? We bounced from it again, and then bounced, closed below, rejected, and now we are looking to possibly close above this level for the first time in, over 2 or 3 weeks. Okay, so back above here, we look decent. Now our major level of resistance is going to be this $2,200 level. All right. Not looking for any major longs on ETH until this level is reclaimed, and then we can talk about the next levels from there. So 2200 to 2300 is our main level of resistance for ETH. But in the event that we get a pullback, and by the way, this has been low time frame flipped to support, but this resistance here. But if we get a major pullback, or not a major pullback, this isn't a major pullback, it's probably like 2%, 3%. That is where I'd be looking to long, with hopefully a move up to there. Now, hopefully, the clown in charge of the circus of the White House doesn't open his mouth. We've been doing really well without him opening his mouth, and get this move and then go higher. Okay, this would put in another higher low here and would be super bullish. Now, if I were to take fibs from these lows to those highs, assuming these are the highs that we put in, again, perfect area to go ahead and bounce from. All right, so I'd be looking for longs around 2K down to the bottom around 1978 or 1980. All right, this is a scalp trade. Hopefully, target up into the 2250 level. Okay, and like I said, shorts from this level do make sense, but as Bitcoin has this premium, now it's like $70. ETH doesn't have a premium. Okay, ETH is basically the same. If Bitcoin continues to pump, it's going to drag ETH with it. So if you are shorting, go in it with a smaller position size because you are trading against the trend. All right. Now let's take a look at this shitcoin. I got stopped out of a very tight Sol scalp last night. Was a good area to short. Now, like I said, last night Bitcoin's price had a premium on it, and it's going to drag everything up. But as you can see, as Bitcoin is up on the day, let me get rid of these immaculate drawings that I have for you guys. Okay, so as Bitcoin is up, almost 4% on the day, alts are going to pump a little bit higher, right? And this looks like a reversal candle, just like what ETH did here, right? You had the reversal candle and further down. So Sol has a chance to flip this resistance here back into support. And if it does so, that is where you're going to long. You'll have to watch that yourselves to see if that happens. So here is the resistance. So if this 139.58 level is retested and holds, then you have a long scalp which you could take. It'll be something like this with stops somewhere here. Okay, very, very easy in validation, and you're going to target, these highs here. Okay. Now, in the event that we do not hold that level and that the retest is unsuccessful and we have a deviation back under, then you could possibly look to short it with stops somewhere above here. I can't tell you where yet because we don't have the data. It's a very tight stops. And looking for possible longs, you have this golden pocket here. Now this one's not valid anymore because I took it from what I thought was going to be the highs. But you have an OB along with a possible trend line touch. Okay, this was your previous range down here. So this order block, okay, this order block around 232, buy all the way down to 130, stops below these lows here, and again targeting these highs. Now if Sol is bullish, we should hold that area. We can draw some fibs, assuming this is the top. Okay, perfectly lines up with the golden pocket and the trendline confluence. So 132 should be a nice area to hold. Now, this is a stronger demand zone right here above the support as well. So again, that's why we're placing our stop losses below here. But honestly, a good spot position to bid at would be 132 and buy all the way down to like 128. And manual stops would be a loss of this level on spot, closure below there, turn to resistance, and you can manually close it. But for leverage, it's going to be this setup here. Okay. So you'd have to monitor these two levels to see if this flip happens, and you can take a possible long scalp. Obviously, the move up on altcoins aren't going to be as strong as Bitcoin because, like I said, Bitcoin dominance does not look bullish or bearish. It's just ranging, but Bitcoin does look low time frame bullish with a breakout possible looming. All right. So that's what I'll be looking at Sol. Now, Sol does have major resistance here. Okay. So around 152 to 155-ish. That will be a good area to possibly short on Sol. Now, obviously, the more confluence you can find, the better the short will be. You have this giant irregular, inorganic candle, so it's very hard to give a setup based on that. But 252 to 250 5-ish, 256-ish is a good area to short with stops probably around 267. Now, I'm not looking to take that short. I'd rather to see what happens here because we can easily go up and reject, come back down, right? And then you have an inverse head and shoulders setup possibly. I know you have this weird deviation, but the neckline still stands. That is a good area to possibly reject from and come back down and long from that area. All right, so Sol is a little bit more complex than ETH and Bitcoin, but the setup is still viable. Okay, now one of the coins that has put up a 200 up 100% over the past few weeks or few days is Farcoin. Okay, let me go to spot chart really quickly. Okay, so Farcoin on a higher time frame, and people were asking, why, and I gave this trade in the Discord, close it for 32% gain in 2 days, but higher time frame, right? We put in a higher low here. We actually, here was major resistance, right? Rejected from it. We had the reclaim above, and that was a trigger to go long once you have the closure above there. And now we are at this resistance level. Okay, so Farcoin is holding relatively well. This is a very volatile coin to trade, but the trend is up. Okay, now we have this resistance here in the lower time frame. That was my final TP. Should have kept it. Would have been 52%. But if this holds, right, this should continue to grind higher. But like I said, it's very overbought. Okay, RSI is at around almost 80. 80. Okay, look what happened when we got to 80%. Okay, every time we get to 80-ish around here, we dump. Okay, came back up to here again, close to a dump, back up to here, close to a dump, and then not close there, but as you can see, when we get close to 80, it dumps. So I'm not saying short it, but I'm saying if you are going to long this coin, this is an area where I would be careful. Okay. Now, you have a bearish divergence forming on the 2-hour, which it did form technically, but okay. Price making higher highs, RSI making lower highs. So just be careful. Like I said, this isn't a good place to long this coin if you really want to. I'd wait for a pullback. Now, where are we going to get that pullback? Well, a good indicator would be this OB. Now, this would be a patience type trade because this is going to be like a 20% dump from here almost. That is where I'd be looking to long. Why? That was that major level of resistance almost. Okay. We flipped it to support. It's a little bit higher, but we flipped it to support here, right? We had this battle here, closed below, rejected. Now this would be an area where we want to hold, and that would around 48 cents. If we get it, I think is a buy. It would also be another higher low point placed, okay, and then a good area to possibly get in with a inverse head and shoulders pattern. All right, so again, be very cautious if you're longing here. That's where I'd be looking to buy if I were to buy this coin again. Okay. Now, outside of that, I haven't really looked into any other coins at the moment. I'm just checking back in while I've been gone for the weekend. If I do, it'll be given in the Discord only. But this is a brief outlook on the markets, the big three, and what I expect to happen over the next few weeks. So low time frame, we are bullish. I am bullish. On a higher time frame, I am still macro bearish. All right, until we reclaim that 92 to 95K level. This whole move can just be a little rally to the upside with further decline on the way. All right, so that's it for me, guys. I will catch you guys later. Thanks, everyone.